Hello, in this blog post, which is up and down, there's a little list of things to do to get content on your website. And I know marketers are always going, oh, you've got to have some content on your website, but now is just a no-brainer time to do it. And we get stopped with what to put on our website. And if the only thing you blogged about on your website at the moment was what happens when someone comes to your space and the measures you have in place for personal protection and COVID and social distancing, that is information, and that is really, really valuable information. Stephen Covey, who I mentioned in the post, or his son actually, has a book called The Speed of Trust, and he documents how when trust is high, speed is high, and cost is low. And at the moment, people are worried about how, unless they're going to Bournemouth Beach, they're worried about how they're moving around and what will happen when they get there. And if you have clearly laid out on your website, here's what we have in space, you will establish trust with people coming to your co-working space. And what got me to write this is because so few places I see online, and I spend an above average amount of time looking at co-working space websites, hardly anyone A, writes on their website, and B, has COVID information on their website. And I know a lot of you do, but it is like a kind of no-brainer thing to put on there at the moment. And part of the reason is, there's always this, in any business, not just co-working, people are like, I don't know what to write on my website, and is answer people's questions, which we talk about a lot on my website. And if you look up They Ask You Answer by Michael Sheridan, it just tells you exactly how to do it. And we don't know what to write. And if you open with, hi folks, never thought our first blog post would be about COVID. Here we go. The world's a very forgiving place at the moment, and everyone is in some type of shit somewhere. So if you can just be human and connected, people really, really appreciate that. And people don't come to your co-working space because it's shiny and glass. They come to your co-working space because it's you. And what we've seen, going back to the trust ideal, is places which had a very strong relationship with their community, with their members in their co-working space, and they had high trust. When COVID hit, there's stories all over the place about how members helped co-working spaces out, and people were able to have like open conversations about what to do about rent and membership rents, and how to, for the members and the space to work together. Other spaces, I linked to a post in All Work where I won't say the name, but members were suing a bigger co-working company because they just went out of their way, the company went out of their way to enforce the membership agreement, even though they were giving a reduced service. And people couldn't afford to, their businesses were dying and they couldn't afford to keep their membership up, but the place just went straight to legal action. And you've got to ask yourself, if you go that fast, that quickly to legal action, the trust isn't there. So very final point, is there's three ways at about halfway down the blog post, there's three ways or three places to look for content in everything you do every day. So people send you emails and you can answer those questions on your website, and I go into more detail on that. And also, if you're, something that just pisses me off nowadays is spaces that write 10 tips for freelancers, and we as consultants and freelancers, and you can ask in the Freelance Heroes group, we read the same 10 tips for freelancers all over the internet. So my suggestion is, I don't why am I saying that? What I really think you should do is, if you have musicians and DJs in your space, write something very specific about that. If you have project managers in your space, write very specifically about the Agile Manifesto and Scrum techniques and apps for people doing whatever they do in Scrum. Be really specific, because people will know that you're not just flossing it over. Anyway, already way too long. So read the post. I'd love to hear what worked for you, what didn't work for you, and you'll hit me up here on this social network. And be careful out there, stay safe, and be excellent to each other.